Look at that. 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 That is freaking predator right there.
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you?
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you?
What?
Who thinks he's smarter than you? This is just Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. This is just look at that. This is just look at that. This is just look at that. This is just look at that.
Alex Jones is lying to you. That might come as a shock.
Pac-Man.
What?
Pac-Man.
What?
Pac-Man. This is just this is just Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers. Jones has fake callers.
Trump was doing this with his personal toilet.
But sinks, toilets, and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
What on earth is going on with Trump and toilets? Trump's White House toilet would be clogged with documents that Donald Trump was flushing down the toilet. Is this the explanation? Is this the explanation?
Big massive dumps.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15
Trump was doing this
times.
with his personal toilet.
Elements of bathrooms.
And showers.
Big massive dumps.
Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
Uh-oh. I love mangoes too.
9 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes. Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
The American people will lie. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Bring my mangoes back down.
The Wisconsin crowd identified with the mangoes.
Disproportionately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes?
All right, welcome everybody. I was not planning to cover the Jen Psaki press briefing. It was supposed to be 2 hours ago, but because it's going on, let's listen, and then we will get to the news of the day.
Caring for the safe care for unaccompanied children should be a part of what we all want to be active participants in. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. So the Justice Department today announced that they are ending the Trump administration's 2018 China initiative and replacing it with a broader approach towards more countries, Russia, Iran, North Korea. I know that justice officials have spoken about this, but if you can elaborate from this podium the reasoning behind that, and especially in addressing the complaints of discrimination from Asian Americans.
Right.
I would have to dig further into this, Patsy. I'd really point you to the Department of Justice. I'm not sure we have more to add from here.
And then just on the global pandemic response, can you confirm the amount of funding that the administration has requested from Congress? We're hearing this number of $5 billion that activists say is not nearly enough to help vaccinate the world as well as to stop new variants from attacking the U.S. as well.
Well, I don't have any specific numbers. We're still in conversation with the
Convalescent
Hill
plasma?
at this point about funding and funding needs, both domestically and internationally. We want to continue to be the provider of not just vaccines, but vaccine know-how and assistance to the global community. We don't believe that
Sarah, you're on the cover
that
of
the
Time
pandemic
magazine again.
sees borders, and we know that in order to continue to get it under control, we need to be the leader in the world on this effort. But numbers are still being discussed with the Hill, so I don't have any more specifics, unfortunately.
Really quickly on Ukraine, are you at this point urging Americans to leave Russia? I know that I think 2 days ago the embassy in Moscow is issuing an advisory saying for Americans to have evacuation plans that do not rely on government assistance.
I'm urging Americans to leave Russia.
To leave
The
Russia.
State Department makes those assessments and recommendations, and they update them regularly, so I'd point you to them for any updates. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. A few on Ukraine. First, the Kremlin has vowed counter-sanctions in response to the U.S. We've not seen what those will look like, but it sounds like the U.S. has quite a bit of intelligence, so I'm wondering if you have any view on what the nature of those counter-sanctions could be, what impact they could have on consumers, and how the administration could offset that.
Well, we've seen those threats or those reports, but I don't have anything to provide or assess from here.
Yesterday, President Biden said nothing in Putin's lengthy remarks indicated any interest in pursuing real dialogue on European security in the year 2022. If that's the case, what do you see as the end game here?
Well, again, our hope is that Putin will decide to de-escalate, that he will feel the threat of the sanctions, what the impact will be on the Russian economy, on the Russian people, on the people who surround him. They are meant to have a deterrent impact, that he will feel the weight of being a pariah in the global community. It does not mean we have never closed the door to diplomacy, and the president didn't have that intention of conveying that yesterday either. Right. And certainly, if it is an appropriate time, he will engage with President Putin again, but now is not the appropriate time where he's continuing to invade a sovereign country.
And finally, the administration is working on putting its budget together. How much humanitarian assistance for Ukraine is the administration prepared to support?
It's a good question. What we're going to, and it's hard for me to give you a number right now because we're going to continue to assess the needs on the ground, and we certainly are prepared for the potential for there to be major continued humanitarian needs on the ground. Obviously, those have existed since back to 2014, but we want to continue to be the largest provider of humanitarian assistance. This is something we will continue to discuss with colleagues in Congress as well.
Thanks, Jen.
All right. Okay, thanks everyone. We'll do this again tomorrow.
Supreme Court real fast, Jen.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back to what Peter asked.
Sure.
This small window, and in the midst of this window, you have a lot going on with foreign policy.
We do. It means you guys have a lot going on too. All of us.
Yes, right. How about that? With that said, how is the president feeling in the midst of all this as it relates to this impending nomination, this historic nomination that he's getting ready to make?
Tell me more about what you mean. How is he feeling?
How's he feeling? I mean, he's got all of this going on with Ukraine and Russia, and then he's got this historic nomination of the first black woman to potentially sit on the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It's history being made in the midst of looking at sanctions and other things that are happening overseas. How is he feeling about this?
I think he's feeling good.
Yes. I mean, I think the president is looking forward to announcing a historic, eminently qualified black woman to serve on the Supreme Court. He feels there's tremendous honor in that. He takes the role that every president has in selecting and nominating someone to the Supreme Court very seriously. That's why he has been spending time not just studying bios, but also reviewing cases and engaging very closely with an internal team on this process. But he is very much looking forward to making this announcement and getting this individual confirmed.
How many nominees has he met with thus far?
I'm not going to get into further detail on that. I expect once he makes an announcement, we'll have more details to share.
And lastly, the administration has been fervent, I can't even get the word out, saying that they will,
is the word we made up,
will fight against anyone who tries to mar or ruin the reputation of any of these nominees.
Yeah.
What are you willing to do in this fight to keep their reputations that they walked into this process with?
Right.
That's a good question, April. I think what we mean by that is there are a range of eminently qualified black women whose names have been out there as potential nominees. All of these women would make tremendous additions to the Supreme Court. And we have also seen efforts to mar their reputations. And what we mean by that is we are going to fight back even before, obviously, the president has made a decision or made an announcement against efforts to tar any of their reputations. That means defending them publicly, standing up for them, providing information to debunk any information that's being put out about them that's inaccurate. And hopefully, they all feel that we have delivered on that promise. But that has been important to the president from the beginning.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow or whenever.
Thanks, Jen.
Whenever. Okay. There is Jen Psaki. We were not counting on covering that, but it was just going on. So we have a lot of different things to talk about as we are watching everything very closely. A few very brief housekeeping announcements. First and foremost, I am honored to announce that we have now reached 1 million views on Twitch. Very, very important announcement. 1 million views on Twitch. We did it. We did it. And a very special welcome to all of our viewers on Twitch. Number 2, yesterday we experienced a huge win in the battle of ideas. We could say, in a sense, that the Force was with us as the great actor Mark Hamill, known for playing Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars series, liked one of my tweets. A major win. Some say the strongest they've seen. So just something to look at. Just something that we're looking at very, very strongly. It was a big loss for the dark side, I would say. Okay, and let me close this tab out. In fact, as we go further and further into today's stream, Centauri says, love the show, David. Thank you for speaking out for Ukraine when some in the U.S. are supporting Russia. Yeah, I started my podcast today with an apology. And I apologized because yesterday when I was talking about Tucker Carlson essentially defending Putin's invasion of Ukraine on the basis that Ukraine isn't, quote, really a democracy, I listed a bunch of different problems in Ukraine, but I didn't actually say Ukraine is a democracy. It's a flawed democracy with problems with rule of law, etc. And so today I started the podcast just by saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ukraine is a democracy. It ranks at 60 out of 100 as a, flawed democracy on the freedom. I cite it in the podcast, whereas Russia ranks at 20. And so the analysis is still the same one. But if I suggested Ukraine was not a democracy, and of course it's not really binary, that's why it's ranked out of 100. And okay, fair enough. So that's on today's podcast. I want to say a huge thank you to Rebecca Metz, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code OBAMNA. And is new member number 1 today. I also want to say thank you to Tokyo Dial, Firimo, Jen Here, Margot Cabot, and ODW for the 5 Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 6. I really appreciate that. Lastly, Benjamin Brown says, David, sir, did you happen to see Majid Nawaz on Rogan? It is complete madness.
Sir, your wife is up in the air.
I didn't see that, sir. I didn't see that, but I will check it out. Okay, let's get into the news. It's not exactly calming down in Russia. U.S. warns Ukraine of full-scale Russian invasion within 48 hours. Okay, that's not good because so far, everything we've worried about has happened. President Joe Biden's administration has informed the Ukrainian president of intelligence assessing that Russia is preparing to conduct a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in the next 48 hours, U.S. intelligence officials have revealed to Newsweek. The president of Ukraine has been warned Russia will highly likely begin an invasion within 48 hours. Additionally, reporting from aircraft observers indicates Russia violated Ukrainian airspace earlier today, flying possible recon aircraft for a short period over Ukraine. A source close to Zelensky's government also confirmed to Newsweek that such a warning was received, but noted it was the third time in a month that Kyiv was told to prepare for imminent large-scale military action order by Russian President Vladimir Putin. It's possible for sure Putin can't keep so many troops in the field much longer. So for now, it doesn't clearly seem like things are calming down. Meanwhile, this is from The Sun, so, take it for what it's worth. Putin warns hypersonic missiles are ready and stockpiles blood for war as Ukraine declares a state of emergency. This is also not an indication that things are calming down. Vladimir Putin has warned unparalleled hypersonic missiles are ready for action. Troops have also been on the move amid concern Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, could be next in his sights as the country declares a state of emergency. Satellite images showing a buildup of elements of medical near the Ukraine border.
Elements of bathrooms.
Tanks were spotted on roads as Russia beefed up forces in rebel areas. Massed Russian helicopters in Belarus, or Belarus, as the President Biden says. So another indicator that things are not exactly calming down. And Putin's argument for dominating Ukraine foreshadows aggression against NATO. Russian President Putin's justification for seizing additional territory from Ukraine signals his long-term desire to subjugate other Central and Eastern European countries. The reasoning Putin presented when he published his demands to NATO and to the U.S. earlier this year, this reasoning is signaling that his ambition goes way beyond Ukraine. Now, I am confident in saying whatever his ambitions are in terms of going beyond Ukraine, I don't think they're going to get very far as that goes. But I think there's no doubt that those are ambitions. And, we can take issue with any one source, but there's really no way to deny that Putin for a long time has been obsessed with Ukraine just as one piece of his greater ambitions. So we're going to be watching all of this. I hate all of it. And it's not only for political reasons. It's also, I don't like the economic instability. We had another disastrous stock market day yesterday. It looked like, well, today things are going to recover. Dow was down another 500 points today. Another 500 points. NASDAQ down almost another 3%. Call me selfish, but that's another reason I don't want this outrageous instability. So we are very strongly hoping that things turn around. I am tomorrow on the podcast going to be talking about what I guess we're calling the alt-left. Now, I want to be really clear here. Sometimes we talk about the revolutionary left. And when we say revolutionary left, it's sort of like a less pejorative term for what many of you call tankies. And tomorrow, I'm going to be addressing the alt-left, and I think we need to really draw a distinction. The alt-left and the revolutionary left are two different things. For example, I would consider people like Glenn Greenwald, Tulsi Gabbard, Matt Taibbi, etc. I don't consider them revolutionary left. I consider them alt-left. Now, many of you would say, David, they're not really on the left. And I would go, yeah, maybe that's true. So they might just, alt-left might not mean actual left. But tomorrow we are going to be talking about that group. And they have gotten it all wrong on Russia, Ukraine. One of the things I try to do is be careful on the show with the language that I use. So like, for example, when people say something about hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin or whatever, I will never say something like, this doesn't work for COVID and it never will be shown to. I don't know that, right? So I try to be careful with my language and say, well, there has been no randomized controlled trial peer-reviewed, on ivermectin that shows it's effective for treating COVID. Okay, and then if that changes, if a study comes forward, I wasn't wrong. At the time, I said there was no such trial, and maybe there will be one. Now, there hasn't been, right? So the point here is I want to try to be careful with my language. And so when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine stuff, all along, I was reporting to you, here is what the intelligence assessments are. Here's historical context about Putin's ambitions. Here's what we know from satellite imagery, although salad, I love salad and I would look at it on a satellite or under a microscope, whatever you want. But here we're talking about satellite imagery. It looks as though it's reasonable to think Putin may be planning to invade. And you had all of these different people saying the data is false. Putin will not invade, etc. And of course, that's a prediction about the future. And I was careful to say, signs are pointing to the invasion narrative being quite plausible. And then Putin invaded. Okay. There are these people on what I would call the alt left who have insisted all along Putin doesn't really plan to invade. And if he does, it's Biden's fault. And Biden has a bloodlust and really wants war. And they've been wrong about every single one of these things. So let's look at a couple of these examples. Here's a tweet from Matt Taibbi, who said, I have a long record of being critical of Putin. This troll fantasy that I'm pro-Putin comes from reporting correctly that Russiagate was fake. Not even going to deal with that right now. And opposing U.S. intervention in Ukraine. That doesn't make me pro-Putin any more than opposing the Iraq war made me a Saddam lover. Now, of course, this is a false dichotomy. I oppose U.S. intervention in Ukraine, and I recognized that if it looks like a duck and it smells like a duck and it sounds like a duck and it has the DNA of a duck, and when it reproduces, ducks are born, it might be a duck. And so this is one distortion that's come up, that people on the alt left, they weren't ignoring the evidence. They're just against U.S. intervention. Yeah, well, you could be both. You could be both. Here's another example. Here's Tulsi, who said, Biden-Harris tell us we must bear the cost to defend freedom in Ukraine. But while you and your family struggle with higher prices, the power elite, capitalized almost like a Trumpian tweet, won't suffer at all. And if the conflict goes nuclear, they'll be safe in cushy, massive bunkers while you and your loved ones fry. Again, alluding to this war lust, supposedly from Joe Biden, who told us very clearly, we're not putting troops on the ground. We're not doing that. Now, are we fighting a proxy war by funding Ukraine? Yes, of course. I talked about that. But this idea that Biden's desperate for war, bloodthirsty, and it might go, come on, guys. And then here's Glenn Greenwald. Glenn Greenwald, he has one story that he likes to tell. Whenever war emerges, there is an intense surge of nationalism in the U.S. People across the spectrum unify. The media speaks in almost total lockstep. So I'm sure polls will indicate approval for now, but I really wonder how much Americans are willing to sacrifice for Ukraine. There was no evidence that Biden wanted war in Ukraine and planned to get involved with troops or whatever. Hold on a second. Do have to ban someone here. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. So anyway, they've all been playing up the bloodthirsty Biden narrative all along. And like, it's just not being borne out. Biden's not even really putting in very serious sanctions yet. And that's okay, I think. He needs to keep something in case Putin does go towards Kharkiv or Kyiv. But, you know, come on, this bloodthirsty Biden meme is really just pathetic. So we're going to deal with that. That'll be my critique of the alt left tomorrow on the podcast. And I hope all of you check it out, because I think it's going to be quite interesting. I don't know what this is. We're going to close that up. But we're continuing to monitor other things. The four-show Flip asks via Super Chat, do you think Russia's actions, if not sufficiently addressed internationally, will set a precedent China might use to justify action in Taiwan? Yeah, I mentioned that 2 days ago. Absolutely. Yep. I think China's paying very close attention to what's going on. and they have some pretty serious ambitions when it comes to Taiwan. I'm being told that our Twitch, I see, our go live message was messed up on Twitch. Got it. I just updated it. Thank you and welcome. I want to say a big thank you to to no one. I have no one to thank. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna continue going. All right. Next thing, the stream schedule for the next few days. Now, this may be completely upended because intelligence is now warning about a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in the next 48 hours. So this may change. But as of right now, here's what we have scheduled, okay? Tomorrow, 3:45, these are all Eastern times. These streams are all scheduled on YouTube. You can set a reminder on there now. Tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. Eastern, we will start with day one of CPAC. We will carry Kimberly Guilfoyle's speech. Oh, hold on. Do I have her, the best is yet to come? Oh, I don't think I have that. I really should get that. Right?
Come on.
Yeah, now we're going to go ahead and get that. We're going to first listen to the Kimberly Guilfoyle speak tomorrow.
Come on, David, right?
Yep. And then we'll be covering Ted Cruz. And then we will continue coverage into the evening tomorrow. Okay. So then Friday, we will be starting at 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
Right?
And we will be, this is my hype board, by the way. Diamond and Silk are helping me. We will have Candace Owens. And hold on, who else are we going to have? Oh, Nigel Farage and Ben Carson. So Candace Owens, Nigel Farage, and Ben Carson, Friday, starting at 1:30. And then Saturday, we will carry the Donald Trump keynote to CPAC. We will be starting at 6:15 p.m. Eastern time and going until whenever that ends. I have made the decision not to cover CPAC on Sunday.
Come on.
Okay. And the reason why is it's kind of like a trash throwaway day. It starts at like 9 a.m. I don't think many people are going to tune in at 9 a.m. Eastern. You know, the sun will just be coming up on the West Coast, and it just doesn't make sense. So Sunday, there will be no CPAC stream. And then a Tuesday, and you can already pre-register for this, we will be live with Joe Biden's State of the Union. That will be Tuesday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. The speech itself scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so that's the stream schedule for the next few days. We have taken care of that. Okay, thanks to Lonerbox for the raid. Not a channel I'm familiar with, but welcome to everybody watching from the Lonerbox. Also want to say thank you to Rabid Diabetic for the Twitch Prime subscription. And I want to invite all of you, every single last one of you, to sign up on my website, joinpacman.com. It's the best way to support all of the streams, essentially daily streams all week and into next week, almost daily streams. And you can use the coupon code right above my head, Obamna, to get a pretty serious discount off of the price of a membership. Classy Andy says Bidan may not have troops on the ground in Ukraine, but he does have them in Poland, and Lithuania want them too. Yes. Yes, and we have talked about that. Justin says Putin's terms were no NATO expansion. NATO for years broke their own promises not to expand and continued to expand. Case in point, the U.S. keeps saying no to Putin terms. Why isn't this being discussed? Because it's false. Justin, you've got to read the history of the negotiations around the expansion promises. There was a verbal discussion of no eastward expansion and no Ukraine and NATO. It was removed before anything was signed and codified. Okay, so that's why. NATO never actually, it's sort of like if you go and you talk to a car dealer, right? And you're out in the lot and you go, okay, this podunk jalopy, what's this thing cost? And they say, oh, this thing's $8,000. And you go, $8,000. I like that. Let's go inside and sign papers. Great. And then they come to you and they go, you know, it's actually $10,000. Here's the paper and it says $10,000. And you look at the paper and it says $10,000 and then you sign it. You can't later go, you agreed to $8,000. It's like, no. Then we changed it to 10 and put it in writing and you signed it. Okay? That's what happened with the eastward expansion. So I don't know how many more times I have to mention that. Probably more. Would be my guess. Matt says, does the right donate more because they have more people, especially lower and middle class, who don't understand that they should be saving money for their expenses instead of donating? I don't know. That's an interesting question, Matt. That's a very interesting question. Justin says, fair point. I'll look more into it. Thanks, David. Beautiful. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. Also, when NATO expands, they're not invasions. Russia's invading Ukraine. I think that's a beautiful point. From a Twitch viewer. Okay, good. Let's keep going. A few little things to go over with you guys. Here is a very ugly situation. This woman, I don't know if her name is really Karen or if that's the sort of racialized term that's being used for her. The title of this video is Karen doesn't want taco people in her neighborhood and refuses to let them set up. I love tacos and I love food carts. Why anyone would want to prevent in small towns and small cities around the entire country, people are desperate for the cultural and culinary elements of a taco truck. And this woman doesn't want tacos. Look at this. Not in our neighborhood. It's like you'd think they're setting up a subsidiary of NAMBLA. It's like this. It's tacos, lady.
It doesn't belong to you.
Does it belong to you?
No, it doesn't belong to none of us. It's public. If they want to be here, they can be
have
here.
The rights, right?
The same way you want to be here, they can be here.
You're making it a fight. I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting
you. made it a fight.
No,
you made it a fight. You touched the little girl. You pushed her.
I would never. Sorry if you ever thought that I would ever do that. I will never do that.
No, she already did what she did. She already did what she did.
It's a lie.
Imagine fighting against tacos.
Not a lie.
I would never touch a child and not even
And you did. And you're on video. And you did.
Sweetheart.
Don't talk to her. Do not talk to her.
I love children. I love kids.
It doesn't seem like that.
And I love Spanish people.
She loves Spanish people. God, these people aren't Spanish. Spanish means from Spain. That's another pet peeve of mine. Are you Spanish? It's like, well, hold on. Whoa. So Spain's a country in Europe. Do you even know what you're asking me? I would bet anything these are not Spanish people. She may love Spanish people. That's not who's here. There's no tacos in Spain. God.
You don't. Just because you're friends with some of them on Facebook doesn't mean that you love it.
And from the accents I'm hearing of people speaking Spanish, I don't hear a single Spanish accent there.
Well, Tony, I have the people around me who live with me for 10 years, and they know how dearly I appreciate Spanish people.
She really appreciates. So listen, it would be great if someone said to her, why are you talking about Spanish people? There's no Spanish people here. What's your obsession with Spanish people?
We're like family in this neighborhood.
It doesn't seem like that because I'm from this neighborhood.
Okay. It's not a good thing. Guys, I love Spanish. I love Latino people.
Now she switches to Latino. Okay.
I have no issue with you. It's nothing against you personally. It has nothing to do with you personally. It's about you wanted to feed your family. I want to keep my family safe. That's it.
Is she saying the tacos make her family unsafe?
It's not. It's a resident.
I could understand thinking a quesadilla might endanger children, but tacos are so benign.
From the middle of the street.
It's a residency. I'm sorry. This is a neighborhood. This is a neighborhood, and it's not safe anymore. It's not safe.
Wouldn't it be safer if they set up a taco place and tons of people were around? Like, if the problem is the place is dangerous for reasons other than the tacos, you would think the activity of a taco truck or taco stand would make it safer.
It's in front of the residential area, but this is a commercial area.
It's not. It's not. You're standing right in front of the homes here. Right in front of them.
Esta mujer no deja que los
And I just don't
taqueros
understand what's the problem.
vendan.
Take
Todos
the stuff and
estamos
put it
súper
somewhere else.
que nos gusta.
Plenty.
Y ella solo
Plenty of
se
space.
para aquí y
It
dice
does
que
not
no
have to be
puede
in the
vender
neighborhood.
porque es vecina de aquí.
What a bizarre
I
scene.
want to. I can't for 2 years already.
Esa
I
es la
can't.
famosa, chicos, para que
Our lives are not
sepan
quiet
que
anymore.
no
What is she, does anybody know what she's talking about?
tratamos mal a toda la comunidad latina.
My dear, I hear that you don't care about neighborhood. I hear.
I never said
You
that.
don't live here. That's why you don't know what
words
it's
in my
like.
mouth. As soon as you hear from me, then you
Guys,
can hear
if
that.
I cannot walk around with my child in the neighborhood, it's a problem.
I just don't understand even the connection here. Let's see if there's an article or any commentary about what is even going on. Her reasoning is the taco stand makes the neighborhood dangerous. Yeah, I don't even get it. And she keeps talking about Spanish people. Very, very ignorant woman, needless to say. Okay, very good. So that's that. Oh, hold on a second here. Okay, no, everything's fine. Okay. So we got that. Here's another one. This is a really good one. This woman, Ruth Swanson, is a Republican congressional candidate. As soon as you hear her speak, you probably don't need me to tell you that she's a Republican. She was interviewed, and this is really good. She was asked for any evidence of any fraud in the 2020 presidential election, and she didn't want to present it today. She just didn't want to. Not today, guys.
Trump.
Who got the most votes in the 2020 election?
Trump.
Why do you think that Bill Barr found no evidence of voter fraud?
I think that they should have gone and taken what the evidence was in Arizona, across the nation. They should have done their due diligence with this, and I don't think that they did.
And what was the evidence?
There were multiple testimonies of people who were complaining about lots of different things, but I don't think I want to go into it all today.
Yep, today's not a good day for her to go into that. Other days she would give you all the evidence, just not today.
Okay. Any specifics of the evidence that did you want to say?
No, not today.
Not today.
Thank you. Yeah.
But just one thing, so we'd have a sound bite. So you could say you said that Trump won, and just like one bit of evidence.
Not today.
Nope.
Thank you.
Not today, guys. You are not going to get that evidence today. She apparently from the Mike Pillow school of thought, where she will be getting that information out to us within the next couple of weeks. It's going to come out. Tor09MT says, David, are you familiar with liveuamap.com? Seems like a useful tool for dissecting military situations. Yeah, I am familiar with it. Let's pull it up real quick just to show people what it looks like. It's quite an interesting tool. And so, of course, we can zoom in over here and we can get a sense as to what is going on. I don't know that I'm the right person to really dissect this, but let's see what these elements are. Of ceasefire violations. Okay, yeah, so they're keeping an eye. It is a very interesting tool. I don't know that it would really give us insights that are not in what's being reported in textual news articles, but it is an interesting site. Let's see what this randomly is. Kharkiv airport closed. Oh, I see. Okay. These are all ceasefire violations. There's a rally tonight. Okay, yeah. So it's an interesting website. Interesting website. I encourage people to take a look at that. Other super chats coming in. New coupon code should be Dangerous Tacos 22. I agree. Gabe says, I think she had that evidence in Giuliani's bedroom, or no, in his den. Yes, that is exactly where the evidence is. Okay, here's another really interesting story. This is so weird. As many of you know, Alex Jones is banned from Spotify, and he's streaming on Spotify. It just, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. The Alex Jones Show is streaming on Spotify. InfoWars, the Alex Jones Show, is streaming on Spotify, even though Spotify banned all content from Alex Jones in 2018. What? Full-length episodes of The Alex Jones Show have been uploaded daily on Spotify since February 20th and remain undetected by the platform's moderators. The Alex Jones Show is the first result that appears when searching InfoWars on Spotify. This oversight speaks to a larger problem of Spotify's shoddy enforcement of its own rules. Yeah, so that's going on, and that's very, very strange. Here's something else I'm going to present to you. This is video from Russian television. So I'm going to tell you what this allegedly is, and then we'll watch it together and we will assess it. And I think we will only be giving our opinions. We won't be saying what this really is. This is video from Russian television purporting to be Ukraine shelling members of the media. And many of you who wrote to me about this said, David, it looks completely staged. Let's take a look at it together and see what we make of it.
Жители покинули свои дома еще в 2014 году, когда... Тихо, тихо, тихо. Что такое? Забор! Ложись, ложись!
Okay. So I don't know. Honestly, like, I'm not even going to assess it because I have no idea. This is purportedly the shelling of journalists by Ukraine from Russian television. Many people saying, to me, it is completely unconvincing. Let's look at it once more. It's also weird how it's being filmed. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. I don't know. So I'm being careful. I do not know if that is real or not. It is very, very difficult for me to tell. Okay, but actually, before we get to that, let me do a couple other voicemails. Oh, thank you to The One Stein and Rish for signing up via Twitch Prime, numbers 8 and 9 today. I very much appreciate that. And I welcome anybody. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do a free item. Whoever is the next member on my website, meaning number 10, I'll give you a free item from my online store. We've got hoodies, we've got sweatshirts, t-shirts, coffee mugs, hats, better hats than this one, that's for sure. Whoever is the next person to sign up on my website, joinpacman.com, even if you use a discount code, I will send you a free item, and you can use the coupon code OBAMNA for a discount. OBAMNA! You can also use the coupon code Please Don't War, if you would like. Other super chats. David, what is going on? Just got up to speed. How do you turn it around if the crazy Trumpers eat up Fox pro-Russia stuff too? We're really up against it. Daratan says, I was a forward artillery observer in British forces. This is not an artillery shell landing guaranteed. All right, there's one perspective. A thank you to Dat Side for the Twitch Prime subscription. Remember, the offer was for the next website member, so that is still open. It looks like there's 6 people racing to sign up right now. We'll see who gets in there first. Let's do a couple of voicemails. Yes, I have 1,100 voicemails for you. I'm not going to play all of them, but let's listen to a few. Here is one. Whitney, hit us with your next idea.
So my hypothesis is that the German and Italian combination, the family that has the Nazis, there's the cool looking interesting noses or something like that.
Yes, German Italian noses are fascinating, according to Whitney. Here's Troy York.
First of all, your assumption that all Democrats must think a certain way is fascistic, is illogical.
I have never said all Democrats must think a certain way. Back to Whitney.
So I think if they made another superpower that was mainly Russian or maybe somewhere more up north, they'd probably have more success. I bet if they all
I've gotten a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 back-to-back voicemails from Jimmy from Philly, who I haven't heard from in a really long time. Do we want to listen to that? Do we want to see what sort of screeds he's delivered? Thanks to Mundy Man and GW Jumpman for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. I'll tell you who's getting the free clothing item momentarily. Seems people want to see what Jimmy's up to. Let's see if he's having another medical event.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? What is this bullshit? Dude, nonstop nonsense from you, dude. When are you going to fucking tell the truth? I figured out your audience is mostly 15 to 20-year-olds.
No, we have the demographic data. The bulk of our audience is 25 to 45. That's where we've got like the plurality of the audience.
Great job there, David. Jesus Christ. So fucking believable. I hope Kyle's lawyers, or I hope conservative lawyers in general, just keep filing cases against you, David. I hope they bury you. I hope they bury you.
What is he talking about? Then he called right back.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? So I'm watching this nonsense, this soy boy you got on the phone with the National Popular Vote. Yeah, I've been following that for a while. Even if they get to all the states, it doesn't matter, David. It's never going to fucking pass.
Jimmy doesn't seem to understand how that works. Okay, next voicemail.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? $9 in super chats, and you don't fucking read them.
Man, I don't know what he's talking about. He called right back.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? So I'm watching you on Discord, and like you ignored me on Discord, which I will never do again.
What is he even? What is he talking about? I ignored him on Discord.
But I guess it's more entertaining to talk to these little silly boys who try to act like they're fucking smart. What are they, like 19, David? That's most of your audience. What, 15 to 20 years old?
Like I said, the plurality of our audience is 25 to 45.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? So I hear you talking this nonsense about Facebook, and listen to me, David. You're in league with all these motherfuckers.
When did I talk about baseball? Does anybody remember when baseball was something I said? Baseball. I don't even remember what that was about. Facebook, he said? I thought he said baseball. Let's listen again.
And this nonsense about Facebook.
No, he's saying baseball, right? You guys think he's saying face? I think it's baseball. Let's listen to it one more time.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? So I hear you talking this nonsense about Facebook. And listen.
Oh, maybe I think he says basebook. Basebook. I don't know what it is.
Hey, David, you're in league with all these motherfuckers. See? You can't tell the truth. Ain't no money in the truth, really. That's what you figured out. I guess that comes along with being Jewish, huh?
Ooh, and Jimmy going anti-Semitic there. Is anybody shocked that Jimmy harbors anti-Semitic beliefs? Is that surprising? I'm so surprised, guys.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? So I hear you talking all this fucking nonsense. You're talking to this Spanish guy, right?
I don't remember anybody from Spain calling in, Jimmy. Now, speaking of which, that trope rears its ugly head again. Oh wait, no, a guy from Spain did call in like a while ago. Does Jimmy know that, or who the hell knows? I don't even know what Jimmy knows.
Obviously retarded, right?
Okay, that's
Let me
pejorative.
give you a little clue, David. West African comes here, right? He says to me, "What the fuck is wrong with black people over here?"
Okay, all right, we're gonna get away from that. And here's the last one from Jimmy.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? David, Pac-Man, Power, Enema.
Well, would you guys be shocked to know that Jimmy from Philly is actually a regional director for Bain Capital Consulting? Would that surprise you guys that he's doing very, very high level management consulting? I'm kidding. Obviously. So that's Jimmy. No, some people thought I was serious. No, it's not. I want to say thank you to Derek Edgar, who gets a free item from my online store, along with being new member number 13 today on my website. Also, a huge thank you to Dwayne Robertson, Wesley McLaughlin, and Matt Baker, all of whom just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, with the coupon code OBAMNA.
Mexico.
That's the wrong one. Sorry. With the coupon code OBAMNA.
Obama.
There we go. Wrong drop. Also, thanks to Blueberry Babe for gifting 2 subscriptions. Very, very much appreciate that as well. Okay, a couple of other voicemail screeds. Back to Whitney.
Hi, David, it's Whitney.
I know.
So I was driving down the road, and this is Lancaster, California, and there's this lady here, and she's holding a sign that says she can't afford surgery. Like, her kids, or I think it's maybe her mom or something, it was really hard to understand her. She's from a different country.
Well, that's very
She,
sad.
couldn't afford surgery. And I'm like, well, how is it that this country can afford to pay for transgenders?
And we're off of Whitney on that note. Let's go next to Eric from Mass.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about how to dumb this down for you.
Please.
And here's the best way I can do it.
Eric, I really need you to use the simplest possible language when you explain your theories to me.
3 doses for 8 billion people would be 24 billion doses. It would take 32 years to make them. If you had 5 different plants making 1 dose per second, it would take 10 years. Can you explain that to me?
No, I definitely cannot explain that to Eric.
In the F were they ready in 7 months? In 7 months, I mean.
Okay.
David Pacman, I have signed up to Donald Trump's social media site, The Truth, and conservatives and Republicans need to continue to embrace.
Man, Troy York is really boring. He's barely audible.
So I realized I made a huge mistake because I was researching about India, and I realized that the Middle East went over first and enslaved the Indians.
Right. Dave, have you seen the faked Russian video of a guy who, quote, lost his leg, but he still had his prosthetic leg attached in the video? I didn't see that, and I'm not going to look it up.
You're a little shit-stained runt bitch. You need to have a big cock stuck in your mouth.
Oh, okay. And we're going to get away. Why is it that the right-wing callers can't make a substantive critique of me without either saying I'm a liar propagandist funded by George Soros, saying something homophobic, saying something anti-Semitic? Like, why can't they say, hey, David, you know what? You're wrong about your view on taxes, and here's why. Princeton found in a 1997 study that the optimal tax rate, it's always this insanity. They have no other way to communicate, seemingly. It's really sad. Really, really sad. And it doesn't bode well for the country. I think it's important to mention. One other super chat here. Bay Photo says tacos from Mexico. Exactly. All right, let's get into a very, very strange story. I think you guys are going to like this one. Republican House candidate Martin Hyde, who is all about the police, all about back the blue, is caught threatening a police officer during a traffic stop with one of these "do you know who I am" moments. Let's take a look at the video. And this is a supporter of the police, guys. Remember.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, sir? I'm Sebastian, Sarasota Police Department. You're on audio and video recording. The reason for the stop, you were observed
This was last week.
going 57 and a 40, and you were on your phone texting while you were doing that. That was Euclid and...
By the way, these people with the phones, they are a existential danger. I have become skilled at spotting people on their phones from a mile away on the highway. If you go down if I'm in a straight stretch of highway, by the way, do you guys know how to use highways? Because a lot of people in this country seem to have no idea how a highway works. You stay to the right until such time that you need to pass. Guys, please. If I'm going in the rightmost lane that I can, because I understand how the way you're supposed to use a highway, and I see someone a mile ahead in the fast lane with a line of cars behind them, they don't even realize they're not using the highway correctly and they're slowing everybody down. I can immediately tell they're on their phone. And of course, you're not really supposed to pass on the right. If you understand how to use a highway, you're not supposed to pass on the right. But at a certain point, you have no choice because they're going 64 in a 65 in the fastest lane. So you pass them on the right, and then they're like this. This is the way they're, you go by like this. It's a danger out there. Every single one needs to get a ticket, okay? They got to be dealt with in this exact way. Please learn to use a highway. Don't get off the phone. God.
You don't need to point at the officer.
I'm not pointing. One thing by the way, we'll start this over in a second. One thing I fantasize about when I see these people is I fantasize about installing in my car a message like an LED thing where I can type something and it'll display the message. And I fantasize about flipping a switch and it displaying get off your phone, getting right in front of them and slowing down until they see the get off your phone message. I fantasize about that. A lot of people identifying with that. Okay, let's take it from the top. And by the way, speeding, allegedly, while texting, get this guy off the road.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, sir? I'm Sebastian, Sarasota Police Department. You're on audio and video recording. The reason for the stop, you were observed going 57 and a 40, and you were on your phone texting while you were doing that. That was at Euclid and Fruitville.
You don't need to point at the officer.
I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing in the direction where it was.
I just called the chief, that's it.
Go right ahead, sir. Can I see your license?
Right?
Yes, sir, I do. Can I see your license?
Did you guys catch that? You know who I am, right? You know who I am, right? What do you, and on that basis, why are you bringing that up, sir? Do you think that you should be exempt from the law? By the way, A1 Andy says, David, are you going on the Patrick Bet David podcast? They need a progressive. I've been invited. I'm trying to figure out when I can get down to Florida in order to do it. But I'm looking at that very, very strongly. I was just in touch with Patrick Bet David's producer today. Let me see actually if I've heard back. No, I haven't. No, I'm trying to, yeah, they've invited me and I got to get down there. Let's continue.
Registration insurance, please.
You can do this?
Yes, sir.
You see that? You going to do this? Yes. And it's on camera.
I'm sorry?
Big mistake.
I still have a job to do, sir.
Yeah, for now. What's your name?
Yeah, for now. Yeah, for now. This guy is just trash.
Officer Beskin, it's going to be on the citation. Can I see your insurance registration?
On the side, which you will be getting momentarily. There's not going to be a verbal warning here.
Give me a license, please. Sir, can I have your paperwork, please? 7 years, sir. Can I see your registration, please? You're not going to give me your registration, sir.
You arrest me?
I'm asking you if you're going to produce me with your registration. You don't have it on you?
Look, go call the chief. Tell him how rude you just been to me. Play him this video.
Okay.
Then you call Marlon Brown. Then you call the mayor.
Okay.
Call the mayor?
They're not okay, though. Tell me what to do.
Okay, sir. Are you refusing to produce your registration? I'm asking you if you have your registration.
You're making career decisions.
Okay.
This is a career decision. Verifying that this guy is legal to drive this car and whether it's insured. You could lose your job over that. Do you know who I am?
Sir, because you were speeding and you were texting.
Says who? Here's part two. The guy claims to have called the officer's supervisor. By the way, this guy's running on backing the blue. Is that surprising to anybody? This guy supports our police. Yeah.
Call the supervisor. I just spoke to your boss.
Okay.
It's not okay.
You want your paperwork?
Is it your Russian immigrant status that makes you talk to people like this?
Oh my God. Did he just say, is your Russian immigrant status what making you behave? Is that what he said? What, did you guys hear that? It's the wind noise makes it very tough. Let's try again here.
You want your paperwork?
Is it your Russian immigrant status that makes you talk to people like this?
Yeah, he said, is it your Russian immigrant status that makes you something people like this? Something. Was it treat people like this?
10-14, 6.
Call the supervisor.
14 dispatch, can you have my supervisor respond, please?
Yeah. And then we'll see who goes.
Okay.
We'll see who goes. Like this, we have so many criticisms of things that police officers sometimes do. This officer saw someone going 50% faster than the speed limit and texting and pulled them over, recognized the person, and is still doing her job. And she's the problem, and he backs the blue.
You don't want your paperwork?
6142, can you be 5103 Bell Street? You don't have a warrant.
Sir, you're going to be issued a citation.
Everything you have to say. I'll wait for the supervisor.
You can wait for the supervisor, but I'm going to go through what I need to go through.
No, I'm not interested.
All right, you are going to be issued a
There's
citation.
the registration.
Now, I think it should be said, there are people who, if they treated a police officer like this, maybe not this police officer, this woman seems pretty good at keeping her calm, but there are other officers who would have ripped the person out of the car if they had a different profile, if they weren't an older white guy. We must admit that. We must concede that. I'm not saying this officer. I'm not saying this officer would treat different people differently. She might be really good and she might be able to stay calm no matter what. There are other people who, if they did this, would have been ripped out of the car by other officers.
Well, you've been already issued a citation for that. For what? For failing to produce your registration. All right. Sir, you're gonna be issued a citation 57 and a 40 for speeding. Your fine is 256. Information in the back. You're gonna have an option to plead guilty, an option to plead not guilty, and an option to take a safe driver's course. If you qualify for the course, it will reduce your fine, and it will reduce your points. If you decide to go ahead and
What is he even saying? It's not even clear what he's saying.
do that, just make sure you do it prior to submission of payment.
You know what he said about you? You want to hear what he said about you?
He could say all he wants about me. I got a job to do, sir.
You know what he said about you?
If you fail to complete,
like this.
okay,
And he's going to have you again.
and that's fine,
It's not fine. What you saying is fine.
sir.
I'm a law-abiding citizen, and you're being bloody rude to me.
If you decide to go ahead and do the course, just make sure you do it prior to.
It's what is he even so pissed about? He was going 57 and a 40 in texting, law abiding. Okay, these are civil infractions. At this point, he broke, traffic law. Man,
Submission of payment, as they do require a certificate.
do you think you're winning? That's fundamentally what this is about, isn't it?
Completion.
Oh man. Let's see what the follow-up was here. Republican congressional candidate on Florida caught on tape threatening a police officer's job. He's running in the Florida 16th district, was pulled over in Sarasota. According to Officer Julie Beskin, he was going 57 and a 57 and a 40 and texting. The body camera footage showed him threatening the officer's job. Hi, how are you doing? Okay, so we got that. I'll call the chief. How's that? She says, go ahead. You know who I am, right? Yes, okay. I want to see the aftermath. Officer attempts to give him his Russian immigrant status, called supervisor, hands over the registration, says the tenure might not last longer. It's not showing any follow-up so far. Wow. What a prick, huh? What a prick this guy is. Really just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just got online today. So sorry to ask, David, because you've probably covered it. Could you clarify your latest opinion? Every day I'm doing a clip on that, Nicholas. So I'm not going to do it again right now. But every day there's at least, actually today, it's like 3 or 4 clips a day over on the YouTube channel about all of this stuff. Okay, I want to say thank you to Paul Lowther, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code Please Don't War. Also, thank you to Garrett Merkin, who just got a Twitch Prime subscription and is number 20. I invite you to sign up on my website, joinpacman.com. It's the #1 source of our funding. We have been streaming every day this week, guys. Every day there's been a stream, and it will continue. We will be live the next, 3 days with CPAC starting tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. And it is just a great day. I mean, listen, if you've been waiting to sign up, today is the day to do it. It really is. Let's do a couple more voicemails. I know that we were just getting into the thick of it. Here's another one from our friend Whitney.
But I just felt like maybe Italy didn't like anything kind of like conflicting with their privilege. And I don't know if Kate Middleton is, exactly like Italian.
What?
But they seem to like appreciate like the image more and like the superiority disorder and being.
I don't know anything about that. Back to Troy York.
Hello, David Pacman. I want to give you a warning. I was at this bar in Antioch, Illinois, and this guy who knows Kyle Rittenhouse, I guess he was talking about the appearance he had on Tucker Carlson and Kyle Rittenhouse. I was at Steve Startson bar in Antioch, and he was saying that Kyle Rittenhouse is going to sue a variety of people and not just the mainstream media.
I don't know what he's saying, and he's eating food, and it's just bizarre. I do wonder what is going on in a lot of these people's lives,
So what's freaking me out, like really freaking me out, is that right after the Holocaust, there was like a time when I wasn't here. Like, I don't know what happened or what the demographics were.
Yeah, just
and
check
I was
history
thinking
books.
that you should take a look at it, because I'm seeing like Germany all the way up north near I think let's say like North Dakota, near the Canadian border.
Northern Germany is nowhere near North Dakota, Whitney. I hate to tell you, I don't know if anybody else has suggested checking a map, but Northern Germany is near South Dakota. It's not near North Dakota.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass, and I got a message from Hulk Hogan. What are you going to do, brother, when Hulkamania and vaccine-induced AIDS runs wild on you?
There is no such thing as vaccine-induced AIDS. In case anybody would be confused, I want to make sure to put that on record so we don't have any issue with the YouTube or Twitch moderation and et cetera. Kevin saying prosecutors in the Trump crime probe have resigned. That just broke when I was going live. I haven't read about it yet. I'll cover it tomorrow. David, have you seen Greg Abbott instructing Texas DCF to investigate parents of transgender kids for child abuse? This is the real Gazpacho police. I have not seen that story yet. David, tell York that this war might be worse than Kyle Rittenhouse. Yes, absolutely. I will tell him. That is a very, very fair point. I don't know any other way to say it.
Mr. Pacman, why is it that you don't interview Alex Patterson from Media Matters about what he has documented about Spotify as well as Joe Rogan, rather than offer your personal apologia for him, saying, "Oh, I think he's sincere. I think he's an honest guy."
Man, I don't even know what this guy's talking about. Avi says, I wanted to send you 10 pounds, but didn't have such currency. Please accept French euros instead. We tend to have a policy on the show of only accepting Italian euros, but on occasion, we will accept French euros.
So I know, gay guys, I don't like vaginas. Like it's
Oh, man. I guess we should wrap up the stream soon on that note. That's really something. Thanks to Casey Bates for the Twitch Prime subscription. Man, I don't think I can do it anymore. That's going to do it for today. We've gotten caught up on the news. I will be back tomorrow. We've got a podcast episode. We'll have YouTube clips. And I will be live with Kimberly Guilfoyle's unhinged CPAC speech at 3:45 p.m. East, 12:45 p.m. West. That's tomorrow. We'll see everybody then.